رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah ثم alhamdulillah. We carry on this week from where we left off last week. We started off the chapter of fasting from the book al-Mustaqni, which is a classical fiqh book, and we are using the commentary of, as we said, Shaykh Muhammad Ibn Salih al-Uthaymin rahimahullah. Okay, so we discussed quite a few issues last week. We discussed the definition, we discussed who those people who fasting is obligatory upon, those people who are excused. For example, we mentioned the traveler, right? And there were some issues that we spoke about with regards to a traveler. Okay? So what was the conclusion we came to? That as long as you are a traveler, you are permitted not to fast. So even if it's a simple travel from here and a flight to Johannesburg to George, 45 minutes, you are a traveler, you don't have to fast. Okay? However, we said if you are able to fast, then it's better for you to fast. It's better because to fast in Ramadan is more rewarding, it's quicker to, you understand, you're fulfilling your obligations easier or quicker in that way. Right? But if the travel is difficult and hard, then it's better not to fast. And if the travel is going to affect you, your health, and really make you become weak, then fasting can be haram for you. Right? And you have to break your fast. We also spoke about the one who is sickly. We said that the illness is categorized into two types. That which there is hope for recovery, and that which is no hope for recovery. So a person who has hope for recovery, those days which he's sick, he is allowed not to fast. You have a flu, you have a whatever, tight chest, you don't have to fast because you're sick. Right? But once you're better, after Ramadan, you have to pay those days in. We mentioned this. Question here is, how do you know when you are, sick enough not to fast? What type of sickness must you have before you can say, okay, I'm not going to fast? How do we judge?
Conscience will tell you.
Your conscience will tell you.
Yeah.
What will your conscience tell you?
You will know you're lying to yourself or not.
Yeah, but now what do you need from your conscience, man? Before you can say it is life-threatening. Now that's a serious thing then. Life-threatening, I mean, if you have a flu, that's not life-threatening, is it?
But if you need the meds.
If you need the meds, meaning it's giving your body harm, right? That's the thing. So, yes, perception can be used, where you tell yourself, look, this illness, I'm not getting better, my body's getting weaker and weaker, I need medication. In that case, you can break your fast. That's one way. Another way is that you go see a doctor, and then the doctor firstly has to be trustworthy, and then the doctor will tell you, look, you are not fit to be fasting right now, you have to break your fast. Okay? So, those are some of the issues we spoke about. Where we left off was the issue of the niyyah, the issue of one's niyyah. Right? The author here, he mentions that it is an obligation that every person who is fasting a day of Ramadan, or a wajib day, that you have to fast, that he makes his intention the night before. That he makes his intention the night before. Okay? So what's meant here by the night is, what's meant by the night? Isha. After Maghrib until when? Until when?
Before Fajr.
Until before Fajr. Right? Because that's the night. So you have up until Fajr to make your niyyah to fast the next day. Right? How do you make your niyyah? Bil qalb. Right? Your niyyah is always in your heart. In the Sharia, your niyyah is always in your heart. There is no such thing as a uttered niyyah in the Sharia. So, where did Nawaitu Sawmagadin come in from? Why do we have this tradition where Nawaitu Sawmagadin an ada'in fardi Shahr Ramadan, every night after taraaweeh they say this? Where did that tradition come from? It came from here. Because there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he says, Man lam yubayyit as-siyam, whoever does not express his intention to fast qabla tulu'i al-fajr, before Fajr has begun, فَلَا صِيَامَ لَهُ, then he has no fast. There is no fast for such a person. So, they understood from this, we must make the niyyah the night before, and this is where this tradition came from of reciting the niyyah or uttering the niyyah every night. However, we know that there is no such thing as an uttered niyyah. So, as long as your niyyah is there to fast tomorrow, I'm going to get up for suhoor, I'm going to fast, that's your niyyah. There is no such thing as nawaitu, sawma ghadin, and these things have been made up along the way, unfortunately. Right? For those who claim that it's not made up, then please provide us with the proof. And unfortunately, the reality is there is no proof for these words. Nawaitu usalli fardhu salah, sunnat salah. All of these things have been made up along the way. Right? So your niyyah is in your heart. And your niyyah, it must be there the night before according to this opinion. Right? According to this hadith, according to this opinion, you have to have the intention to fast tomorrow. If you don't have that intention, then there is no fast for you. Right? So based on this opinion, let's say a person, he goes to sleep, he falls asleep after Asr. He falls asleep 5:30 before Maghrib. And he sleeps all the way through. From 5:30 he sleeps until the next morning 8 o'clock. When you wake up, it's already the next day, Fajr was 6 a.m. You passed Fajr. You never made any intention the night before because you slept the whole day and night. So what happens to his fast? Based on this opinion, the hadith says, فَلَا صِيَامَ لَهُ. He has no fast for such a person. He has to make up that day again. Because he didn't make the intention the night before. You understand?
The first time I didn't.
Yeah, but now the next day, but the next day you understand. But although there is another opinion where Shaykh Al-Uthaymin rahimahullah, he says that he differs with this view, and he says that if a person makes his intention at the beginning of the month to fast the whole month, then that intention will remain there, day in, day out. That intention is there to fast the entire month. Right? So by making the intention, I'm going to fast Ramadan. That is your intention to fast the entire month. Right? And he says this will apply as long as there is succession in your days of fasting. Which means, let's say you become a traveler one day and you break your fast. Then that succession has been broken. For you to start fasting again, you have to renew your intention, and then that will remain like that until the end of the month or until your succession is broken once again. That's the second view. And he says, he bases this on his understanding that your intention will forever be there until it's broken by something. You understand? So according to this view, if you fell asleep after Asr and you woke up the next day after Fajr, you can just fast on because your intention was there from the beginning of the month. You understand? No one knows best. So this applies to fard fasts only. This issue of the niyyah before the fast applies to the wajib fasts only, like Ramadan. Right? As for your sunnah fasts, where you just wake up one day and you decide to fast, then there is no such thing as you must have the niyyah before. Okay? Because there were times where the Prophet ﷺ would wake up and there was no food in his house. And he would ask the people, do you have food? Do you have food? From his household. And they would say, La, there's no food. Then he would say, فَإِنِّي إِذَنْ صَائِمٌ. So there's no food, khalas, then I'm going to fast. So you would wake up, go through the day without anything, realize there's no food, and then just decide to fast the day. So we learn from this that you don't have to have the intention from before. But this obviously is regarding the nafil fast, the voluntary fast.
So if you're waking up after Fajr,
Yes?
and so 8 o'clock in the morning, whatever, so you can start at that point?
You can start at that point. It can be Asr time. You can start at that point. Right? On condition that you never ate anything for the entire day. So after Fajr, you never ate, you never drank, you never took a tablet, you never had intercourse with your wife. In that case, you did nothing that could technically break your fast. Then you can start fasting from whatever time you feel. You look, I had nothing, I woke up late, I might as well fast today. And then you can fast that day. As we find in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, this is what he done. Found no food, So you decided to fast the day, right? So the question here is again, let's say you start fasting from Asr. Do you get the reward of the whole day or just from Asr till Maghrib? Huh? The whole day. How so? Your intention is to fast the whole day. But when you weren't fasting the whole day,
but you made the intention.
you made the intention afterwards. So according to look, the hadith of intention is each person will get that which he intended. Right? That's a hadith. So you intended to fast from Asr till Maghrib. That was your intention. The rest of the day you slept. You never meant to fast.
I never met a person who slept that length yet, but anyway.
That's not true. People sleep that late. Some people sleep after Fajr only. Then they wake up just before Asr. And then they decide, okay, I'm going to fast.
But technically, one's got a break to fast after Maghrib.
No. You're getting confused here with the first issue where we spoke about the fard fast. We're speaking about the sunnah fast here. You randomly, in the middle of December, you get up at Asr and you decide, I never ate anything for the day, I might as well fast. Do you get the reward for Asr till Maghrib only or for the whole day?
Asr till Maghrib.
Only that, because that was your time that you intended to fast. Right? Let's say you wake up on a Monday. Dhuhr, you decide, it's Dhuhr time, I never ate anything. There's only 6 hours left till Maghrib, I might as well fast the day. And it's also sunnah to fast on a Monday. Do you actually get the reward of fasting the Monday or not?
You get the reward for the 6 hours that you didn't fast.
But did you make the intention when
You get your reward for that 6 hours that you fast, but you don't get the reward for fasting a Monday.
But do you get the reward for the day, or is the reward?
The reward will be for the time that you will fast.
The
reward will be
used to fasting on a Monday. This is in his
okay.
his habit. He fasts Monday.
So his intention was to fast the whole Monday. So then he gets the reward of that sunnah fast.
Irrespective if you woke up now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when you wake. His intention was to fast the day, that's there. But you wake up in the middle of the day and now you decide, I might as well fast. That's completely different to someone who woke up late but he intended to fast.
I understand. You're prepared.
Right? So you don't get the sunnah day, but you still get those hours that you fast for the sake of Allah.
If the person wasn't sleeping, like if you use the example of Prophet where he wasn't food and then he decided to fast, he only gets the reward
From when he fasted until he broke his fast, and Allah knows best, right? And then the author says, وَمَنْ نَوَى الْإِفْطَارِ أَفْطَرَ. Whosoever intends to break his fast, your fast is broken. Because you get whatever you intend, as the hadith says. Which means, if you decide now, my fast is over, I'm not going to fast anymore. Your fast is done. You don't actually have to go and eat. You don't actually have to drink something. You intend, my fast is, let's say you're on the road, and the adhan goes off. You have nothing to break your fast with. You're not going to continue fasting until you find something to drink. You can intend at that moment, my fasting is done. Right? And my fasting, you finish fast for that time. But if you decide an hour before Maghrib, I'm done fasting for the day, then your fast is over. Even if you ate nothing, even if you drink nothing. And this is obviously the power of intention. You decide at that moment, my fast is over, your fast is over. Because you get that which you intend, as the hadith states. Okay? The next chapter we have here is now that which breaks the fast. Right? That which breaks the fast. So the first issue is, the author mentions man akala. So there are 3 things that breaks the fast by consensus. There's no dispute over them. That is eating, drinking and intercourse. Eating, drinking and intercourse breaks the fast by consensus of the scholars, and there's no dispute over that. Okay? The proof for this is found in the ayah of the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَالْآنَ بَاشِرُهُنَّ وَابْتَغُوا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. From now, enter upon your wives, right? Enjoy yourselves with your wives. Have intercourse with your wives as much as Allah has written for you. And eat and drink. كُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا. Eat and drink حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَكُمُ الْخَيْطُ الْأَبْيَضُ مِنَ الْخَيْطِ الْأَسْوَدِ مِنَ الْفَجْرِ. Until that white thread of the dawn becomes clear to you from the darkness of the night. Meaning, you have the entire night to enter upon your wives, you can eat and you can drink until Fajr comes in. Once that happens, Allah says, ثُمَّ أَتِمُّ الصِّيَامَ إِلَى اللَّيْلِ. After that, you have to complete your fast until night, till Maghrib. So the ayah states that clearly about women or being with your spouse, eating and drinking. Based on that, these three things are not allowed during the day if you are fasting, and therefore they break the fast by consensus. Right? So those are the three things. As for other than that, then we find there are contentious issues, or issues where the scholars have differed. Right? So he says, whoever eats or drinks, أو استعطى. Ista'ata is that which you take up through your nose. You take up something through your nose that will enter into your throat, and that breaks your fast. Right? Anything that's taken up in through your nose, that enters into your throat and into your stomach, it breaks your fast. Right? And the proof for this is found in a hadith, where the Prophet ﷺ, he says, وَبَالِغُ فِي الْإِسْتِنْشَاقِ إِلَّا أَن تَكُونَ صَائِمًا. He says, be excessive in your istinshaq. What is istinshaq? Snuffing. Right? Istinshaq refers to wudu. You got madmada when you wash your mouth, and then you got istinshaq. The Prophet ﷺ says, when you do istinshaq, you must be excessive. Which means, when you are taking wudu, you're supposed to pull the water up. You're supposed to feel that burn there. Because the hadith says, وَبَالِغْ means be excessive in it. Pull the water, don't just rub the nose. Right? Pull the water up. And then wash it up. There's also medical benefits to this. That it cleans your sinuses and your nose and all of that. Right? So be excessive in your istinshaq, in the washing of your nose, in your snuffing. إِلَّا أَن تَكُونَ صَائِمًا. Except if you are صائما. Except if you are a fasting person. So we learn from this hadith, when you are fasting, then don't be excessive when you snuff. Because what happens is, from the nose it's connected automatically into the throat, and from there it goes into your stomach. If you are going to be excessive, you are going to take water into your body. And this then breaks the fast. Right? So from this hadith, and from the ayah, we learn what? Eating, drinking, and taking things through the nose nullifies your fast. Understand? Questions?
If it's done by accident, you might be...
Okay, we'll get
the
there.
habit of cleaning your nose that way.
We'll get there, inshallah. Right? Next issue the author mentions is...
So if one feels that there's a risk of that, and because it's a sunnah part of the wudu, is it okay to then not do that?
Do not wash the nose.
Not do the nose because it's sunnah, so it's not one of the wajib parts of
Okay, first of all, that's another issue of dispute. Is it actually a sunnah part of the wudu or not? So the scholars differed over there. Some said the nose is wajib. Like Imam Ahmad Ibn Hanbal, he says it's all wajib. Right? So that's another issue on its own. But rather take the advice of the Prophet ﷺ and do as he says. Just pull up lightly. That's it. That's sufficient. And don't take the water all the way up. So I would say don't follow that view of, no, it's a sunnah so we can leave it out. Right? Because there are others who have argued with strong proof that actually washing the nose is actually a fard. Okay?
And the other sunnahs.
Sorry?
And the other sunnah parts of the wudu.
What do you mean?
Hands.
The only, according to Imam Ahmad, the only sunnah part is the hands. The mouth, nose, ears is fard. Okay? The mouth, nose, and ears is fard. If you are following a view that says differently, then there's nothing haram upon you. You with me? So don't think, oh my God, make all my wudus over. That doesn't apply. You're following that scholarly view, that's that. You understand? But I have to clarify that that's not always the case, that, oh no, it's a sunnah. You understand? And we can maybe talk about it a little later. Right? The next issue is, أو احتقن. Ihtiqan is, translate this, an enema, where you take something up your backside. Where something is put up a person's backside. Right? The author here says that this breaks the fast. Why does it break the fast? Because what goes up the backside eventually ends up in your stomach. That's the argument that was provided. Right? Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, Ibn Hazm and others, Ibn Uthaymin, they say that this doesn't apply. That an enema doesn't break your wudu. Or rather, it doesn't break your fast. Why?
It's supposedly
A suppository, yes.
a fracture of
They say it doesn't break the fast because it's not considered as eating and drinking. Secondly, there is no dalil that it breaks the fast. So now, this is important. We have a principle here, which is this. Once you are fasting, nothing can break your fast except that which is proven to break your fast. Do you understand that? Once you are fasting, your fasting will remain proper, sahih, intact until something is proven to. This thing officially breaks the fast because the Prophet said this. We have the hadith of the snuffing day. That's clear. The ayah is clear. Eating and drinking, intercourse with the wife, it's clear. As for suppository, then we find that there is no clear proof to say that it breaks the fast. Secondly, Ibn Taymiyyah argues that it's not considered as eating and drinking. That's not how you feed your body. That's not how you nourish your body, right? So therefore, he answers. They argue that because there is no proof in the Sharia, and the Sharia is very detailed, that says that this thing breaks the fast. Therefore, it does not break the fast. Okay. Ibn Uthaymin rahimahullah, on another occasion, he mentions an additional benefit, which is, he says, these type of issues must go back to the doctor. Must go back to the doctor. Why? Because if the doctor views this suppository to be something which nourishes your body, it gives nourishment to your body the same way food and drink gives nourishment to your body, then it breaks the fast. Then it's like food and drink. But if it doesn't, then there is nothing to prove that it breaks the fast. And to me, that's the best view. That is the view that covers both sides basically. You understand? It's clear? Right? If it nourishes your body, it breaks the fast. If it doesn't, then it does not break the fast. So, in here, Ibn Uthaymin mentions one of the examples of suppositories is when a person has a severe fever, they give you a suppository to bring it down, especially for children, and this is done often. Right? The next issue we have is the issue of kuhl. So other word that they use for it? Yeah. Surma. Right? Kuhl. Right? The author says that kuhl, it breaks the fast. Kuhl breaks the fast. Why? Because when you put it on the eyes, eventually it goes into the stream and gets into your stomach. Like kajal is, right? Or surma. That thing, according to him, it breaks the fast. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah answers against, and he says it does not break the fast. Why? Is it nourishment? There's no nourishment in it. It's not considered as food or drink. Secondly, there's no dalil in the Quran or the Sunnah to say it breaks the fast, so it doesn't break the fast. Just because it may reach your stomach somehow, doesn't mean it breaks your fast. Or let's say it doesn't reach the stomach, but just because it goes inside of you, doesn't mean that it breaks the fast. It's not considered nourishment. It's not food or drink, nor is there proof, so therefore it does not break the fast. No one knows best. Okay?
Shaykh, so hypothetically, if you eat something that wasn't nourishing, so you ate this stone or sand.
It's eating.
So because it's eating, it breaks.
Yeah, so the kuhl is on your eyes, something different. Let's say you have kuhl on your eyes, and your eyes start to tear and it goes into your system. It doesn't break your fast. Let's say your eyes tear and it rolls down and you start to drink that tears. That breaks your fast now, because you now took the kuhl in by drinking it. So that's considered as drinking or eating. So that's completely different. So let's say you decide now I'm going to eat sand. It doesn't nourish my body, but you're eating. So eating breaks the fast. So the argument is this putting on the eyes it's not eating or drinking. Nor is it nourishing. So therefore, it does not break the fast. Right?
Sure. Do you use Colgate?
Sorry?
To use Colgate?
Colgate.
Oh, Colgate. Same, okay, good issue. Same thing. You're brushing your teeth. Do you eat the toothpaste or not?
No.
You're spitting it out.
Yeah.
No problem.
But there's a chance of you swallowing.
There's a risk, but it's not deliberate. So you're not going to swallow what's the chance that you're going to swallow it?
But the same is not deliberate when you're taking wudu and you
Yeah, that's why I said I want to get to it later. But again, Deliberately means you, and it's in. So you are supposed to avoid the risk by just, that's it. But by brushing your teeth, that's different. It's the same like rinsing your mouth, it's a risk. You may swallow. So it's fine.
But I think here that before you, after you've eaten, before you go to masjid, Fajr or making salah, you brush your teeth, okay?
Yeah.
Before the down goes off, use Colgate. Brush it thoroughly. So next time you wake up again, an hour, 2 hours later, whatever it is, you just brush your teeth more than you need to use toothbrush again.
But again, that doesn't make a difference to me because let's say you're rinsing your mouth. There's a risk that you can swallow the water. If you swallowed it by accident, your fast remains valid.
So it's got nothing to
So-
do with the taste, so long it doesn't go down the throat.
Yeah. So you're not gonna use it and swallow it. You're gonna swallow it, then you're breaking your fast. You're just using it to cleanse your mouth. You're spitting it out, and that's it. What's left behind is that strongish taste. That's nothing. That doesn't affect your fast at all.
Sheikh, can I ask you a question? So back to that card, so you say you put on sunblock potentially in the past. Let's say, for example, on your face and
Yeah.
you sweat, then it potentially could go into your lip and into your mouth. Then that's also.
It could, but then that you can wipe it off. So if you can taste it, then you should spit it out. Because now eating and drinking is something different to going in through the eye, man.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, you put on something here and you start to taste it. You can spit that out and wipe it off, and in that way you preserve your fast.
So there's a difference between taste and obviously
Swallowing, yeah.
Swallowing.
And then I think like hygiene in the eye, which does go around.
Coming up.
Like say, you know, you've eaten, there's a piece of meat stuck into your teeth, and after Fajr, you move your tongue and you find this piece of meat,
Spit
and
it
you
out.
spit it out.
The fast is
Yeah,
perfectly
exactly the
fine.
same, you know.
Exactly the same. A spot, it's in your mouth. You found it there, comes out, no problem, right? So the author then says anything that's entered into your system, whatever goes in from anywhere breaks the fast, right? However, this is not the correct view because again, as we argue now, that there is no dalil for the statement. There's no proof to say that anything that goes in. So Ibn Uthaymin gives us an example. He says, what if you go for a scope? Someone puts a scope down your stomach and you're there to check out something. According to this definition that the author has mentioned here, that anything that goes inside breaks your fast. Even if Uthaymin says this not considered as eating, not considered as drinking, not considered as nourishing, how can this break your fast? What's the proof that it breaks your fast? So therefore, it's going to go in and come out, it doesn't break the fast. Right? Unless, he says, on the scope, there's grease or oil or something, and that goes into your system. Then that breaks the fast, because now you are ingesting something, man, that's staying inside of your body. Do you understand this point? But as for the statement that anything that goes in and that doesn't, we disagree with that. Right? Then the author says, غَيْرِ إِحْلِيلِهِ, meaning, so anything that goes into your body breaks the fast from anywhere except your urethra or your private part. Anything that goes in the front doesn't break the fast. According to this, anything that goes in the front doesn't break the fast. Because once again, whatever goes in the front doesn't reach the stomach, according to their argument. And that's correct. What goes in the front doesn't reach your stomach, so it cannot break your fast. So if someone put a thread or something up a woman's vagina, for example, maybe a scope, I don't know if that's possible, or through the urethra, that doesn't break the fast. Okay? Because it doesn't go into the stomach, doesn't nourish, etc.
An injection?
Injection will come up, we'll get to, right? أو استقاء, someone who goes and he purposefully makes himself vomit, to throw up. What's the ruling on vomiting and fasting?
Breaks the fast.
Vomiting breaks the fast. Break. Only if it's done on purpose. Purposeful. So that's the two opinions we have. Right? Purposeful, that's the correct view. Because this is what the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ says. Right? He says, مَنِ اسْتَقَى عَمْدًا فَلْيَقْضِ. Whoever purposefully goes and makes himself throw up, then he must make up that day. Right? Whoever throws up uncontrollably, he can't contain it. A pregnant woman, she throws up through the day, she's still fasting. her fast is valid. Prophet ﷺ said, فَلَا قَضَاءَ عَلَيْهِ. There is no qada for this person. He doesn't have to make up anything, which means his fast is intact. Okay? So, a pregnant woman, for example, is vomiting, her fast is valid. Right? As for a person who makes himself vomit, put your finger down your throat and you vomit, your fast is nullified according to the hadith. Whether it's a little that comes up or a lot, doesn't matter, your fast is invalid. Right? So what about something that's stuck here in your throat and you comes up?
You call it choke.
Phlegm, or it says a bit small, little there or something.
Reflux.
Yeah. So is that considered as vomiting or not? Comes up. Right? What's considered as a vomit here is that which comes from the stomach. So you put your finger until your food comes out. But you had something stuck here, something, and it comes out of your throat, you have phlegm, doesn't invalid, that's not considered as vomiting. Something different, that's perfectly, that's fine. Right? And making yourself vomit, Ibn Uthaymin says, can be done in various ways. Sticking the finger down, purposely looking at something that's disgusting, watching a video that's off-putting and you start to feel, and you make yourself vomit in that way. All of this counts as making a person vomit. Then the issue is istimna. What is istimna? What is istimna? Istimna is masturbation. Right? When a person goes and he masturbates until mani comes out. Until mani comes out. What is mani? If you know this term, sperm comes out. Right? If sperm comes out, your fast is broken. Right? And Ibn Uthaymin says, istimna, masturbation by any means. Whether sawa'an biyadihi, whether he uses his hand, أو بالتدلك على الأرض, or if he lays on the bed or on the floor and he rubs himself, that also counts as masturbation. Right? This is what the author says. It doesn't only count as using your hand. Right? Any means that you use to masturbate yourself and you experience an orgasm, a climax, and semen comes out, your fast is nullified. Right? But we said earlier that nothing can break the fast except that which is proven. Right? So we need dalil for the statement. We need a proof to say that masturbation actually breaks the fast. This is the view of all four imams, by the way. The first proof we have is from a text where the Prophet ﷺ says in a hadith Qudsi that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the fasting person that he has to leave off his food, his drink, and his shahwa for my sake. Allah said that the fasting person must leave off his food, drink, and his shahwa for my sake. What is your shahwa? Your lust, your desires. That your carnal desires. That's your shahwa. Right? So, in this year, this is where mani is considered as your shahwa. Where your mani is considered your shahwa. When mani comes out of a person, then you're satisfied after that. That's your shahwa gone. You need to leave that for the sake of Allah if you are considered as a fasting person. Right? Another proof that Ibn Uthaymin mentions is an analogy. Right? He uses an analogy between, for example, the fasting of a person who throws up purposefully, his fasting is nullified. The person who does hijama, cupping, his fasting is nullified. That will come up soon. Right? Why does the Sharia make it such that your fast is nullified? Because when you get cupping done, what happens? Your body loses a lot of blood and you become weak. When you throw up, you lose all your food, your nourishment. Your body becomes weak. You're allowed to basically, or you break your fasting. Right? It says when you do istimna, your semen comes out, and what happens? Your body becomes weak. Your body becomes weak, and therefore your fast breaks. Analogy between the three, right? And that's why he says, that's why we have a ghusl in the Sharia. That's why you have to make have a ghusl after you have intercourse or you or semen comes out of your body. Because when it comes out, you become weak, you become lethargic, you become tired. That's natural. And that's why you have a ghusl to wake you up again, to nourish the body once again. Okay? أو باشر فأمنى, or he has some relation with his wife. Right? Not intercourse. He fondles his wife. And mani comes out. Right? Your sperm comes out when you are fondling your wife. Without intercourse. Whatever you were doing and mani comes out. In that case, your fast is once again nullified. The same like the person who masturbated. Once your sperm comes out purposefully because of you, then your fasting is null and void.
Does that make that up again? Is that Quran?
Then you have to make it up again. So what about madi? Your madi, which is your sperm, and madi. Madi is pre-seminal fluids, right? Comes out when a person is aroused. This first comes out. Does that break your fast or not? Yes. Yes. No. Proofs. If you say yes, you must give me a proof. If you say no, you can say, I say no because there's no proof. The radio said so. La hawla wa la quwwata. Okay.
You see now, the proof was you said now until the sperm comes out.
Sperm comes out.
Yeah, it's not.
So let's look at the previous hadith. That you must leave off your shahwa. Your desires must be left for the sake of Allah. Right? We said shahwa is when your sperm comes out. That's when you have fulfilled your shahwa. But if it's madi, you haven't fulfilled your shahwa completely. So it doesn't enter into that hadith. Do you understand that reasoning? Right? Secondly, there's no proof to say that if madi comes out, your fast breaks. So therefore your fast remains intact. Right? Now the author says, أَوْ كَرَّرَ النَّظَرَ فَأَنْزَلَ. A person, he looks at a woman again and again and again, and some sperm comes out. He climaxes because of his eyes. Let's say he's watching pornography. Or he's a person who, like Ibn Uthaymin says here, بعض الناس, you see some people, they have extreme shahwa. And they just, they finish quickly. Where sperm comes out quickly. See, some people are like that. So, by looking, and it comes out. He says if you look more than once, and it comes out, your fast is broken. If you look more than once, and it comes out, your fast is broken, because in the Sharia you are allowed that first look. Right? That accidental glance and you look away, that's permitted. But the moment you go back and stay, that's all haram. Because of that, it comes out, then your fast is broken. Right? What about tafkir? Thinking about something. Fantasizing in your head. Something, and then your mani comes out. Breaks the fast or not?
Yeah.
Breaks the fast? Doesn't break the fast? Breaks the fast.
Your thoughts was your desires.
It doesn't fulfill your desires, so maybe not.
Doesn't fulfill. The hadith says, that this is a general hadith where the Prophet ﷺ says, verily Allah has forgiven my ummah for that which they say to themselves, that which they think to themselves, as long as they don't act upon it or speak about it. That's a general hadith. Whatever you think about yourself, whatever you fantasize about yourself, you're forgiven for that, as long as you don't speak about it or act upon it. Understand? General hadith. So if you're thinking about a girl or a woman, daydreaming, and you have, some semen comes out, then inshallah this hadith will apply, and you don't have your fasting will not become invalid. Right? Huh?
All of those causes creates deficiencies in fast.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It creates deficiency in your fasting, meaning as a fasting person you're supposed to be in ibadah, you're supposed to be, not
So that doesn't nullify your fast.
No. As long as it doesn't lead you to act upon your fantasy, so you don't end up touching yourself, you don't end up doing something that You understand? That leads to the thing happening there. As for hijama, right? Cupping, going for, and this obviously refers to wet cupping, where your body loses blood, right? Then the view of Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Uthaymin rahimahullah is that cupping breaks the fast. Because the hadith says, أفطر الحاجم والمحجوم. أفطر الحاجم والمحجوم. The one who does the hijama and the one who has the hijama done upon him, both of their fasting is broken, according to this hadith. And the hadith says, the one who's doing the cupping and the one who's the fasting is being done upon, both of them, they fast are nullified. Okay?
If
So,
you're giving blood,
good question, Abu Bakr. Right? So, the reasoning behind the issue of the hijamas, as we mentioned earlier, is that your body loses a lot of blood. So because of that, you become weak and you are in need of, nutrition. So that's why if you go for hijama, generally the person will say, have a juice or something immediately after. Make sure you eat something that will, give you that nourishment back. Go rest after this. Right? So, what about giving blood, donating blood while you are fasting? What's the ruling on that?
they use it, especially if you're used to doing it throughout the year.
So, the ruling is simple. If you give a lot of blood, right, and you become weak through that, then that will nullify your fast. If you're just giving a little bit of blood, and generally if you give blood, you're fine after that, isn't it? You're fine after that, you can continue. So then that doesn't break the fast. Unless you're giving a lot of blood. Let's say someone's in need of blood, right? You need to give your blood because of the blood types are the same and this and that. That's something different, right? In that case, you must give your blood. And if it's a lot of blood, your fast is broken, you make up the day. No problem, right? But if it's a little bit of blood, just general, then that's fine. It doesn't invalidate the fast, and Allah knows best. So, all of that, those things break the fast, right, on two conditions. And that is, or rather more than two conditions, maybe four conditions. Number one is that they are done amidan. They are done deliberately and purposefully. And you purposely went and ate. Okay? That's number one. And you're not forced to eat, basically. Someone doesn't put a gun to you and say, here, eat. Break your fast. You're walking the road and gangster comes, puts a gun to you and says, here, break your fast, Muslim. In that case, you can eat. But once he's gone, your fast is still valid. Because you were forced to eat. Anything that's forced in the Sharia, you are excused for that. Right? Secondly, it's done dhakiran. Meaning, not which means you knew you're fasting. You remember at this moment that you are fasting and you ate. That breaks the fast. But if you forgot that you were eating, you just went, you took a glass of water and you drank. And then afterwards you realized, hey, I was fasting. In that case, you're forgiven. Your fasting carries on. In fact, the hadith is so beautiful. It says, whosoever forgets that he is fasting and then he eats and he drinks, he should complete his fast. Because this is only that Allah has fed him and Allah has given him drink. That's Allah intended that for you. That you eat and drink while you are fasting. But you forgot, so you are forgiven.
Sometimes you're a donor. There's an accident. In close proximity to the
accident.
They phone you and say, we actually need your blood. Otherwise, this person will die.
Yeah.
So you're actually in the process of saving a life.
Someone.
You don't want to go, but they actually phone you and say, please come in, give some of your blood. And normally, it's a pint or something like that.
So you're going to give a lot or a little?
It all depends, normally,
So let's say you give a little bit, it's fine. Your fast continues. But if, let's say they need a lot of blood from you, then in that case you give your blood because you are saving a life. That's more important than one day's fasting. In that case, that takes precedent. That's more important. So you give your blood and you break your fast. That day you will just make up. You understand? If you have to give, like in this case now, where it's a life and death, you're saving someone's life. You give a lot of blood. break your fast, because there is a need for that. That's a necessity. That takes precedent. Later on, you can always make up the day. Is that understood?
So if we just go one step back to the person that the semen person that said, a person wakes up in the morning before Fajr
Yeah.
and he realizes, especially the younger
He had
boys.
a wet dream.
Yep. So now he wakes up and there's already Fajr time.
Okay.
So he hasn't had a chance to go. So can he start his fast?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So the same for a married couple.
Okay.
They go to bed, they have intercourse, they go to sleep like that.
Yeah.
That's permissible. Right? You're supposed to then get up, have a ghusl, and then make Fajr, obviously. So then, he wakes up, there's only 5 minutes left. What do? Ghusl first and no eating. Go and eat. Take that time that you have to eat, then go ghusl and make your salah. There's no proof to say that you can't start your fasting while you are in a state of janaba. So you start your day, you are in janaba. But your fasting is valid. You understand? The fasting is valid, and then you make your ghusl and then you go make Fajr. That's what the youngster or the person who's married will do in such a case. So obviously you wake up and you can assess the situation. Okay, I only have so many, I have half an hour, it's enough time. I can ghusl quickly, I can eat, it's fine. But if there's not enough time, I'm first going to eat, because that's important, that you have your suhoor. And then you ghusl, and then you make your Fajr. So you obviously you will know best how to play it depending on the time.
Yeah, Sheikh, in the old days, you had to put on your paraffin water, and warm it before you. Got to have a bath before you start fasting. You know, in the old days, that was the norm. But I mean...
But in reality, there's nothing that says that. So
because it doesn't affect the fasting.
It doesn't affect the fasting. Yeah. Unless now you break your fast. Or you have intercourse with your wife after Fajr. That's different. Then obviously you have broken the fast. Right? So we said now, what was the conditions? Purposefully, he did it and he was aware that he's fasting. And the third condition is that you have knowledge. Which means that you know that this thing breaks the fast. Let's say you don't know that a particular thing breaks the fast. And you are doing that thing. Right? Let's say a person, a youngster, he's 16 years old, he was never taught that masturbation breaks the fast. So he masturbates while he fasts. In such a case, he doesn't know. He genuinely didn't know. He was never taught. So it doesn't break his fast. Until the time comes when he's taught, and now, once you know this thing breaks the fast and you do it, your fast is broken. Understand?
Outside of the fast, masturbation is also not allowed in community.
Yeah, it's haram. Masturbation is haram at all times. Right? So at all times it's haram, that's for sure. But with regards to the fast, not everything haram breaks the fast. So you could then argue that watching pornography, it's haram, major sin. But let's say you put on pornography while you're fasting. For 15 minutes you watch pornography, and then doesn't break the fast. Because that's a major sin. Your fast, the status of your fast must be very, very, the reward of your fast will be extremely low. But it doesn't break the fast. That requires a proof. Unless he has a climaxes there and some semen comes out, then definitely it breaks the fast. But a major sin doesn't break the fast. You understand? A person who does riba, his riba, it affects his fast, the reward of his fast becomes, you understand, little, very, very little. But you can't say that you might as well go and eat. Some people say that you did that, you might as well go eat now. Yeah, you might as well eat now, you did that, you stole, you did. You understand? It definitely affects the fast, but can we say that the fast is not accepted? That's something else. A wet dream in the day. You go to sleep after Fajr and person has a wet dream. Semen comes out. Breaks or not? Why not?
Involuntary.
Involuntary. I didn't do it on purpose, so it's fine. You get up, you make your ghusl and you carry on. Right? And here now he goes into, for example, you take a ghusl. While you're taking a ghusl, you swallow some water. You didn't purposely go and drink water. you carry on. You're taking your wudu. He does tamadmada. He washes his mouth. By accident, he swallows some water. Right? Istinshaq, washing his mouth, his nose. By accident, some goes through and he finds it in his throat and he swallows it. Wasn't deliberately, your fast is intact and you carry on. Right? What about the person? Let's say you are unaware what time Fajr is exactly. Fajr is supposed to be 6 a.m. That's 1 minute to 6. Did it come in or not? Clocks are different. It's doubt. You understand? The radio is no radio. Right? What then? And he eats.
Only when you're certain the time can be.
So basically your fast only breaks until you are certain. If you are doubt, you can eat. Right? Obviously don't pull the doubt now forever. Right? But you more or less, you know the time. You know the time. Right? So if there's still some doubt, you can eat until you are sure, look, the adhan went. Or Fajr has begun, then you stop your fasting. Right?
Starting.
I'm sorry, starting it.
Can we just touch on this? So, when the Quran talks about you start your fast when the first light comes. Right? When you see the needle in
The white
Yeah,
thread
right.
basically.
But Fajr time, there is no light, obviously. So I've heard people say, well, technically, not technically, but they're saying Fajr time is very much ahead of when the first light. So some people say that if you can eat beyond the
There's ikhtilaf what the issue is.
So you can.
So some say you can wait till the adhan's finished, then you must stop. Others have taken a safer view, which says once the adhan stops, you stop. Because the adhan is supposed to go off on that time.
So I get up and the adhan has just started and I haven't eaten. So I can eat something
Eat for
to get sustenance.
No, that's a good question.
I mean, especially when you get to the last days of Ramadan and get stuck there. You wake up, adhan is already, everybody's rushing. So I mean, it's happened to me. I know obviously a lot.
If you believe that Fajr has begun, if we're going with that time, that this is when Fajr starts, then you should stop eating by that time. If the adhan's going, then you don't eat.
Sure.
Because you're going to put your fasting at risk. That's the other thing. And also, technically, that's the time when it starts, right? So if you're going to eat after that, then you're breaking your fast. Then you're breaking your fast for the day.
And you eating while the adhan is...
No, you're not supposed to eat. You must stop. When the adhan starts, you stop. Spit out. Spit out.
But if it's the wrong adhan,
Look at our house, we follow the radio. So I mean, that's quite interesting.
I think if you concentrate yourself,
Sometimes like there's no silver lining, also it's like dark silver another hour after adhan's gone,
I like
like
that.
an hour and a half. Silver lining comes way after
Yeah.
that.
Technical, I'm not going to
But a
answer.
lot of people...
I'll say to be safe, don't eat.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like Fajr
Later. I don't know. I mean, ask
it's a lie.
So playing it safe is before the adhan goes, you stop.
Don't eat it.
You stop.
Chef, but I want
They
to
don't
come
they
to
stop.
that.
They make salah.
So I mean, we've spoken a lot about it in the last couple of weeks about having the proof, right? Right? You eat until you see the first light, right? Which, as you said, let's call it a half an hour afterwards. So I'm saying there's proof, it's in the Quran. Now we say, now when the adhan starts, that's when we stop. So how it's asked in the
You see, we are weak from the light. You can't see always the sunrise and the furthest part of the horizon. You can't see it.
And the mountains are all surrounding.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't see where it is. So you can't actually tell. Is that thread there or not? So the work has been done beforehand. Calculating the times and all of that. So that's why we say stick to that. It's safer. But if you're going to say, no, I don't see it. You're never going to see it. You're only going to see the sun is rising up and now it's coming up. It's an hour after Fajr. Now we see the sun.
But I think what Jesus is saying, if you do go like maybe 2-3 minutes over, then I mean, I'm sure you're still in the safe zone. I'm not promoting it. What I'm saying is there no leeway?
But I'm looking at me as well. But if I'm sitting there and I've already eaten, and I still want to do the extra 5 minutes of, banana or whatever. And the niyyah is that I'm being excessive.
Yeah.
But if I genuinely got up with it, and I genuinely know, so it's again, goes for me, it's about my niyyah is that I really just want sustenance for the day.
But at the time starts when the time starts. So if you missed it, you missed it. So you can't come, but I need my sustenance. You missed the time.
And also
So
because
we can't
can't
lengthen the day for those who woke up late. Because then how much time do you get then?
Maybe to answer
How much time do you get?
The Adhan of Fajr supposed to be in line with the first needle of Qiyam of Adhan. The argument is being made. Is it
I understand the argument. I understand the argument because, in fact, even Ibn Uthaymin has mentioned this himself, where he says that many a times Adhan is given earlier than that. If you actually wait and search for the thing, you will find that it is earlier. I've seen this fatwa, right? But I'm not going to answer and say it's permissible to delay. Because if I'm going to do that, people's all going to delay. You understand? So I'm saying you stick to the Adhan. That's the safest view. Stick to the Adhan. If the Adhan is going and you never ate, don't eat. Preserve your fast. There's no use you're going to risk your fast and say, but what if they early? You don't like the early.
In Cape Town, generally, is the Adhan lined up with your white line?
I don't know. I haven't done research on it.
Sometimes you go out before.
If you work on the calculation,
find it in the store.
Sun,
you only see
Yeah.
maybe 20 minutes after 5.
But it's not about the sun though, no?
And you can start to see the difference between day and night.
But there's a term for there's a gap between Fajr Adhan and
Sunrise.
there's a term that we use for
False dawn.
That time is like dark. The same with the start eating, you must fast until sunset, but the lunch done of 3 minutes after sunset. Can we eat at sunset?
You wait for the Adhan.
But that's 3 minutes after sunset.
But how will you know?
That's 3 minutes after sunset.
If I do the time and there are 3 watches and I watch.
No, time is one thing also. But I mean, but he said 3 minutes before.
No, I say, you fast until sunset. Now sunset comes in and the calendar says 3 minutes after that the alarm goes off. Then it says Maghrib. But sunset was 3 minutes before that already.
Just keep it safe and follow your local times, local sightings.
opposite to what the Jews did.
This important point was, what's the proof of say, it's when the sun sets, there's a hadith not saying the sun sets with the Quran.
Ila al-layl, until night,
Which is when the sun
which is when Maghrib starts. Maghrib starts at the night.
And then the hadith about if you got something in your cup before you leave.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm not gonna answer. I don't know.
Is mostly during the day?
Smoking invalidates the fast, yeah. I was just gonna come there now. Smoking invalidates the fast because of that smoke, it gets your particles that from the smoke that goes into your stomach. Right? So similar to smoking is bukhur, incense sticks, and the steam that comes out of a pot. Steam that comes out of a pot. Right? So vaping is the same. Smoke, there's particles of smoke that enters into your own stomach. Right? So let's say you're walking and someone's smoking and you pass someone and you breathe that air in. It's unintentional, so it doesn't count. Right? But if you purposefully go and inhale that smoke, then you broke your fast. Let's say someone's cooking and there's steam. She's trying to avoid it, the fast is fine. But the moment she's starting to inhale it, then that breaks the fast. That hits your face is fine. You're not inhaling it deliberately. It's fine. But when you go there and take it in, that's breaking the fast. Like you take in a cigarette.
But how does the steam break
There is particles in the smoke that it enters into your stomach. It enters into your stomach. Right? This is proven. So smoking, steam, even bukhur, that stuff that they burn you know that I don't think Luban is the same thing as Bukhur, because Bukhur is something specific. It's like these, you find it more in the Arabian countries, man. They put it on a coal and it burns. If you've been to Makkah, you will smell it. When you come past the old shops, it smells strong. If you go into Krumbumir, they burn it outside the shop.
So if you know
What's that shop here, that old shop? Arabian Oud. If you go past that shop, you'll see a big structure outside. They put this thing on top of a coal and it burns, smoke comes out of it. That's Bukhur. But it's a very nice smell to it. They burn it in the haram and everywhere. That, if you breathe that in, then this is the same like smoking. Right? So what about an asthma pump? Inhaler or a nebulizer? Break the fast. No.
What about using high fever to break the fast?
And high fever, what about the asthma pump here? Your chest, that's different. A chest, you have a chest issue, your chest is tight, you can't breathe. You take an inhaler, it opens your chest.
That's life-threatening sound.
Doesn't mean if it's life-threatening, it's allowed. If it's life-threatening, you must break your fast, you break your fast. It's different. But does it break the fast or not?
And how do you know if it goes down,
That's why this must be taken back to the people of the field. So the doctors have said that, first of all, how much gas or stuff comes out of it, it's very little. 90% of that goes to your lungs. Right? It goes to the lungs to relieve your chest. Very little goes into the stomach. So the scholars have said it doesn't break the fast. It doesn't break the fast. Because it goes to your
amount of consumption, is that because?
Yeah, because it goes to the lungs. There's some that does go into the stomach, but you're excused from that. Right? And this is the way the Sharia works. You're always excused from that little bit that you can't miss. For example, if you rinse your mouth in wudu and you spit the water out, there's always drops in your mouth that you're going to end up swallowing. But you're excused from that. That doesn't break your fast. That you are excused from. But swallowing the water, that's something different. So the asthma pump goes into the chest and therefore doesn't break the fast. Right? Eye drops is the same like kuhal. Eye drops, clear your eyes, you have teary eyes, high fever eyes. It's the same like kuhal. It's not considered eating, not drinking. It doesn't go into your stomach. There's no proof for that. Nasal spray versus nasal drops. Right? So the nose is different to the ear and the eye. Why? Because of the hadith of istinshaq. So we know already that there's a difference between the two. So if you're taking up too much, it's going to end up here and you're going to swallow. It goes into your stomach. Nasal sprays is permissible as long as you don't use a lot and that it ends up in your throat. So if you take one spray, it won't end up going down. If that's the case, your fast is intact. If you take it up and you're going to taste it in your throat, right? And then it will break your fast. Using a nasal spray is permissible, but you must be careful. The same like when you rinse your nose, you must be careful. Don't snuff it up and don't take too much. Right? That's with the nasal spray. As for the drops, then some scholars, if you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. That's what the doctor told me, the specialist doctor told me. You're supposed to spray, this is what they told me to do. You spray it and you lean your head forward so that it runs into your sinuses.
Okay.
That spray runs into here and it doesn't run down your throat like, and then you taste it, and that's not what's supposed to happen. Because it's not for your throat, it's for here. So the spray is supposed to go in and you're supposed to actually hang your head forward and the drops will infiltrate into your sinus. If you do that, you won't taste it. And your fasting will be fine. But if you're taking it wrong and you're pulling it up, then you're going to break your fast.
You're going to do stuff like swimming in sport like that?
So swimming again doesn't break the fast. Unless you're going to end up swallowing water by swimming, then you're putting your fast in risk.
It's above the water.
It's permissible. It's permissible. But you don't want to put your fasting at risk. You don't want to take unnecessary risk and go swimming and you end up swallowing water and all of that. Last issue, dialysis.
And diabetes.
Huh?
Diabetes. Injections.
You didn't carry injection.
You didn't carry injections, no? Okay, injections doesn't break the fast.
All times.
Why?
Not eating, not drinking.
Not eating, not drinking. Unless it's a nourishing injection. You're taking minerals, you're taking steady stamping. You're taking you're taking something to give your body a drip.
You get those vitamin, those boosters.
Right? So that's like food and drink. That is like food and drink.
No, if your immune system is down, it's like a flu injection.
That's like food and drink.
It's nourishment.
That's most nourishment. But if it's a normal injection, like taking blood, they're putting in a needle in. Or another injection doesn't break your fast. Right? As for dialysis, so a person who has kidney failure, he can fast if he's able to fast. Obviously, if he cannot fast, he's excused. But if he needs that, let's say he's a person who fasts, but he needs to go for dialysis. What's the ruling on that? Dialysis
It's very weak.
makes you weak.
Makes you very weak. People usually count, but they are very weak after that.
Then you should fast.
Then you shouldn't fast. But let's say a person's able.
But if
Does
you want
the action of dialysis break or not? But basically what the ulama have said is that, again, so what they done is they first wrote to the doctors. And the doctors wrote back, what is dialysis? What takes place? So they said what takes place is basically the blood gets taken out, puts into an artificial kidney, it gets cleaned, then it gets put back into the person's body. Right? So Ibn Uthaymin said, if this is what happens, your fast is fine. If, and many times this does happen, because like some of the doctors have added this, when it gets cleaned, there are nutrients and salts and sugars that are added to that blood. And then it gets put back in this person's body. You see, if that's the case, then it breaks the fast. But if there's nothing added to the blood is just clean, gets put back in, your fast is fine. Because then there's nothing that proves that your fast has been nullified. And any other questions?
So if you go on that concept, then why is cupping?
Because cupping is taken out.
But you're doing it because it makes you weak, though.
What do you mean?
The fast is not the blood makes you weak. So the dialysis also makes you weak, but the only difference is the blood is taken out. But both makes you weak.
At the end of the day, there is a hadith about the cupping. So the reasoning of weak, the reasoning that comes afterwards.
Okay.
That we can say that's probably the wisdom behind it.
So the hadith actually mentions.
But the hadith says, the hadith speaks about the one who does the cupping himself, the couple, and the one who's doing the cupping.
The person doing the cupping is obviously
He doesn't even-
affected that. So clearly
In fact,
there's a large.
in here they actually argue against that. Because Ibn Taymiyyah, he argues that the person doing the cupping becomes weak because he takes in the smell of the blood and it takes his head and then it's a long discussion.
Because there's also the concept of threading, where it says the person that does the person who's having the threading done and the person doing the threading are both.
The haram issue. Yeah.
So
The tattooer and the tattooee. Yeah? One is what's the
so the
word?
person
Tattooer and
the person
tattooee.
doing it.
Both is haram.
I'm on dialysis, and I know they give you 500 mililiters. Now that thins the blood so that the blood flow is easier, you know. So that's the only thing. I do not fast because they give you something
To thin the blood.
in your blood to thin your blood. You know, nobody has told me, you know, you can still fast because it's like, you know, you're getting something to do something to your
But
blood.
they're adding stuff to you.
Yeah, they added.
So then
they added,
that does
they
invalidate
added
the
the
fast.
500, and once the blood flows in and out, they take it off again, you know, some other way, but they actually give you that 500 more.
Okay, so in that case it does break the fast. Yeah.
And they mustn't forget it because they give you the 500 to thin your
Is
blood.
all the dialysis the same?
Yeah, so more or less,
Is
you know,
everyone's dialysis the same?
it's all the same. It's all the same. They've got
Then,
Some
like you said,
the same concept.
so like we said, if there is added,
No, they must add it because otherwise,
Then it breaks the
you know, the operation can't run smoothly because
Okay.
your blood is too thick for them to to circulate through the machine.
Okay, then it breaks the fastest.
Yeah. So I'm just telling you that if you give you something,
Okay,
shukran.
That's
That's
it.
the blood.
But the feeder doesn't give it to those people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then
That's
the
it.
video, the person who's on dialysis, I mean,
Not necessarily. That's because you're so fast.
When I'm not on dialysis.
You're not on
yeah.
dialysis. So the dialysis
no, I'm saying
patient.
it must be paid that in.
No, yeah.
When I'm
on-
What you would do is the day that you don't fast, you can't fast on the day because of dialysis. So you don't fast, but you can make the day up.
But they also strongly recommend you not to fast.
Not to fast,
So the
yeah.
doctor normally says, as you look here, I know spiritually I get uplifted. Bodily, it will definitely do harm. So it's entirely up to me. The doctor doesn't even decide for me. He said, now this is the niyyah. I don't know if it's right or wrong. When I start fasting in the morning, my intention is, if my sugar goes down or I don't feel well, I'll break my fast. You see, my intention is not to fast the whole day. The intention is to fast only, as long as the going is good. But my intention is, if I don't feel well, I'll break my fast. Now, is that the right fast or the wrong fast?
Your intention should be that.
I'm asking myself sometimes,
Yeah.
but can I fast or cannot?
But isn't it
Because your intention is, as soon as something happens, I'm going to take medication.
Yes, but isn't it true that if you harm your body, it belongs to fast?
Yeah, so obviously,
Clear.
that's what we spoke about initially. The issue of the harm. You have to look at the harm and okay, I can't fast, I'm sick. You have
So
to
there's no
accept it.
such thing in Islam as a half-day fast.
It's the harm. We mentioned it last week.
For sick people.
Young, old, there's no such thing as a
half.
half-day fast. So what your intention should be is, if you believe that your fasting doesn't harm your body, right, then you will fast. But like you said, your intention should be to fast a day. But if something comes up, you break your fast. Because you're not going to, if your sugar drops, no, I'm going to push through. That's not allowed. Because then you are definitely harming your body. But if the doctor, if he knows what he's talking about, if you trust him as a doctor, and he tells you you shouldn't fast, straight, you should not be fasting, then you should actually take that advice. If he gives you the option, then that's different. If he says, look, it's better for you not to fast, but you can if it's okay, that's different. If he tells you straight up, you are not supposed to be fasting, then you're not supposed to be fasting.
Yeah, because Sheikh, if I do fast spiritually, and when it comes to your BP, a sort of, it's always normal type of thing, because spiritually you satisfied, your body is at risk, for me, during that time. If I do not fast, my blood pressure goes up again because I worry. As a human being, you're not that sick not to fast again.
But you are.
So you should, but you
I understand
you
what
weigh up
you're
the
saying.
things that actually
feel like easy
do
to fast.
feel better
Yeah.
sometimes. So, a lot of it,
Like I said, if the doctor gives you an option,
yeah.
then you weigh it up according to how you feel. If he adamantly tells you no, then you should actually take that advice and go with it. Because there's no goodness in making yourself worse or more sick or more weak, right? But like I said, this is where you need to go to a doctor and get a fatwa from him. A trustworthy doctor. This goes back to them now.
And you see that is during Ramadan. When it comes after Ramadan, like those gentlemen was speaking about fidya and things like that. After Ramadan, you're not in that same spirit again. You actually don't feel like fasting after. It's only during the month of Ramadan that actually this kind of feeling comes to a human being, After Ramadan, you feel it totally different, because then I personally don't even want to hear about fasting after Ramadan. Not that I use it as an excuse, because, now my body says, tells me, you've got a chronic sickness, don't fast. I'm not using an excuse, but that is in reality how you actually your body plays with you. Your mind, it's mind games, and it's very difficult for you to decide. But as if I'd switch off completely after Ramadan. I don't even think about fasting after Ramadan.
Just play the video please.
All of those pieces.
Through, maybe you answer it already. If you deliberately break the fast, you have to fast 60 days consecutively to make that.
No.
That's Mythbusters.
I was taught that when I was smaller.
That we'll discuss next week, inshallah.
Yeah, I stopped paying. Other non.
I heard that you can never pay the.
What question is first?
No, that's fine.
We'll do it next week.
No, according to that, they say it's the reward of the fasting day that you can never get, but you must still pay that.
Now we'll deal with it for 60 days in like next week.
So I have a
Kafara.
question unrelated to our topic tonight, which I want to know shepherds 5 weeks either for those that are around the Ruah night tonight. For tonight, I have 2 different views on the same night which are contrary.